What you gonna do when we come for you? Come!
Hello and welcome to an evening with Comrades. Tonight we have with us Eugene.
Hey, how's it going?
We also have with us Pac-Man.
Nuke the whales and save the planet.
We also have with us for a short time Galatix.
Potato.
And of course, as always, we have the man, the legend, the absolute unit, Batco.
The emus did deserve it.
And I will be your host tonight, TK Jones. We may have a few comrades joining us later on. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out easternmarshlands.com. Tonight, we're going to be celebrating the potential downward spiral of the US and possibly the world by having to sit back and having a good old yarn. So, lads, how are we all?
Oh, we're going.
I'm having my... Yeah, everything's great. I'm having my morning coffee in the moment with cats all around me. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning to spend talking about collapse of the world economy. Potential collapse, I must say.
Well, if you want to take a wild ride, take a look at the DAX Performance Index right now. And it's like, oh, we've opened for business. Drop. Immediately, like several hundred points.
You know, it's very funny how I was actually looking at a couple of people who were like saying, "Oh, well, you see, like I was like ANCAPs, right?" And one of their videos was saying, "Oh, how exactly are ANCAPs going to establish anarcho-capitalism?" And basically, one of their main arguments was to establish it through agorism, through like cryptocurrency and whatnot. And I'm absolutely just kicking myself as I look at the current price of Bitcoin. I just kind of like feel like, yeah, good luck, buddy.
Fucking.
You don't understand. It's counter-economic action.
But you don't understand. I mean, truly. I mean, if this is like the true hammer of logic that I am to fear from the anarcho-capitalists. Then yeah, I think I'm good, man.
Batco destroys ANCAPs with logic and facts.
Oh,
Bitcoin.
You guys did see that fucking
computer price.
Yeah.
Everything
You guys did
is expensive because of them.
Yeah. So you
could you please repeat once again because I couldn't hear the you were too low. Can you make yourself a bit louder and repeat?
I said Bitcoins made every computer part expensive. Fucking hell.
Really?
Yeah.
no.
Because everybody's buying them to mine bitcoins or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, there was a news story about it was either in the US or Russia, but there was some like military scientific research place where they were using their really powerful computers instead of making big calculations and tracking the trajectory and telemetry and whatnot. They were mining Bitcoin.
Anarcho-capitalism in action.
No, these are filthy statists trying to take imaginary coins away from other ANCAPs by mining them very quickly. That's what that is.
Well, money is a spook, so joke's on them.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, the mayo.
That's that funny thing. Like they think they can fix the economy by having magic money in their computer. They make fun of us saying like, "Oh, you don't understand basic economics," but it seems as if like ANCAPs don't understand it either. It's like, oh, it's okay. Bitcoin is like an infinite money source. We can just mine as much as we want. Not like regular money, where if they print too much, inflation happens. It's completely different.
No, what I love about that is like, by the very existence of Bitcoin, anarcho-capitalists have actually proven the fact that wealth is invented.
Yeah.
And therefore that their entire economic system of capitalism just falls flat on its ass. It just does not mean anything.
I mean, that was minting money was basically. You just print money.
Yeah.
Well, the difference being like now we don't even need gold or silver to do that. Like we just imagine that it was something. It's like, oh shit, Bitcoin, you say? Great.
What was this big collapse of the Bitcoin price based on? Were people shifting Bitcoins around too quickly, or were people actually thinking, "Oh shit, this 0.50th of a Bitcoin isn't going to be worth as much. I better trade it in for, regular currency like Australian dollars or US dollars."
I'm not sure. Maybe it was the Bulgaria who crushed it. No.
Well, we can blame the
Remember
Bulgarian.
the Bulgarian thing?
What was the Bulgarian thing?
Like they were confiscating all the bitcoins they got from illegal trade, with drugs and shit, and so they have accumulated basically billions and billions of fucking bitcoins. So I don't remember the precise money price, but everybody was freaking out because they were saying, you know what, this could cause a crash because they have so much bitcoin. The government of Bulgaria. Because when we learned about that, it was like, oh my god, crazy Bulgarians have been investing in Bitcoin, crazy. But then I was like, why would you do that?
Sounds like something some guy on a street corner will while wearing a tinfoil hat, will complain about. The Bulgarians are stealing my Bitcoins. Come on, people.
Yeah, but actually, it was true. It was Bulgarians who had so much Bitcoin from confiscated it, that it basically may as well have crushed the Bitcoin market.
Ridiculous.
It's funny. It's the Bulgarians. It's always the Bulgarians.
I just had a sort of flash of Backo's 1950s cartoon idea for the Eureka Socialist Gang. I just had the idea, the Eureka Socialist Gang versus Bitcoin Bob or something, like the master
Bob,
who's going to
what's the Bulgarian name?
He's Bulgarian and he's going to crash the world economy with Bitcoin.
Bulgarian Bitcoin Bob.
Yeah, all of us have shitty costumes on. Actually,
Boyan is a name in Bulgaria. What? Lubomir. Boyan, Bitcoin Boyan, Boyko. Oh my god, they have amazing names in Bulgaria. I'm sorry for all the Bulgarians listening. It's hilarious.
We should probably find a leftist comic artist and actually get him to draw it.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we should make other people work for us. I agree.
Well, I can't even draw. I can't even draw.
The thing is, I do have I do draw and whatnot, but the problem is that if I feel like if I draw too often, people might if I'm ever gonna be hired as an animator and whatnot, people are gonna go, hang on a second, I've seen your drawings before, I know who you are. And so I feel like if I do that, I'm gonna go, oh yeah, fuck, probably not.
Gonna dox yourself?
Yeah, I might dox myself. So I think that's not the best idea.
You had some amazing fan art at one stage though, didn't you?
Oh man, I still get fucking fan art and shit. It's fucking amazing, man. I fucking got one from Cat. I got 2 bits of fan art from Cat Girl Draw Girl. The one that I have as my current profile pic was one. Then there was the one with Batco Motto of the Revolution. But I think my fucking one of the most ones that I just I was like, oh, that is just so wholesome. It's so cute. Was the one by Getchan. And basically after I got my fucking channel taken down, they said we stand in solidarity with Batco. It was a bit odd because it kind of looked like I was marrying the lolly, the Getchan lolly icon. But I kind of did it. But you know what? I just said, I'm going to take it in stride, and I fucking love it. But I think one of my other favorite ones was when I came across this one. It was basically this great fan art. I fucking love it. And it was basically I was in this giant mecha suit. And I was talking with talking about a mutualist Sandcoms. Right, you ready? Let's fucking do this. And it's just basically this one giant Godzilla-like creature, and it's called I think it had Idpol written on it. So like that. It was fantastic. He said, I mean, it was great. The problem is though, is that I feel that with a lot of my fucking recent views, I mean, geez Louise, I mean, it's real. I reckon I've really kind of fucking come a long way. I would say I'm not the anarchist I once was when I first started Batco the Manarchist. I definitely say I think that's I think a lot of it has fucking changed. I mean, I've definitely changed a lot of my views. So what?
I said you grew up. You became an adult, basically.
I mean, basically, I just started reading more fucking theory, and then I actually I fucking went to I started getting involved into more organizations like Socialist Alliance and Solidarity and whatnot. I've yet to meet a fucking anarchist thing in from where I am. and hopefully I can fight it soon. If I can, then just be like, yeah.
But the thing is if you can't find it, then you have to start it. That's the thing.
True.
Yeah.
But I feel like if
anarchist.
I,
Well,
yeah, but I
The
feel like
only
if I
anarchist in the village.
the only anarchist, yeah. It's just, basically you just kind of get like, just a giant socialist protest of all these people like Solidarity and Socialist Alliance, and there's me just wielding one singular black flag, just whistling Mother Anarchy loves the sons and going, oh, yeah, you going, lads.
You're just the one guy.
He's just one guy.
As
So,
One
guys,
Wait, what is it? What is it?
One
What?
man, one desire, one general strike to rule them all. This summer.
One man general strike. Fucking amazing.
Memes will be
guys,
posted.
Glatok,
Oh, that'd work. Like you go to one of those really, really small towns out in like rural Australia where
Yeah.
it's a row of houses with a pub on each end, and you work a shift in each pub, and you sweep the streets, and you do this, and you do that, and you're working yourself silly with like 18-hour shifts every day for like 6 months, and then you walk into the middle of the street and call it general strike, and everyone's like, "What? You're just one guy. How can you shut down an entire town? Let's go get the." Oh, you're him. Well, let's just go to the pub for. Oh, but you can't service. Oh well. Well, you got
I'll
us
be
now.
going, guys. It's time
Yeah,
for me to
Gladox.
go. See
It's
ya.
good to have you, Gladys. Catch you later, man.
See you later, glad. I just imagine, if you will, just basically like you just form a collective of anarchists. You just go into a fucking, you just get hired simultaneously, and then you basically just go on a fucking general strike just for the sake of doing it. Yeah, fucking
like-
general strike now.
50 people rocking up to a place where they only have one position open. They're like, "Oh, we all want to get hired. Nothing suspicious here." Wink.
Mm.
wonk.
Wink, wink, nudge,
oh, we're
nudge.
just friends. We just know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That
It's
says what to
this
say in a
place
job
that I'm
interview.
I'm sorry?
It's what to say in a job interview. So, what are your plans for the future? Well, I'm going to work here for 6 months, unionize this workplace, then quit.
Yeah. Oh, that it really actually, no joke, this is what it used to be about. Like, this is what leftism used to be about. Remember IWW? Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what they
that was-
did in America. They literally got hired
Anymore.
to unionize, and then they just like, fuck them, goodbye. And they didn't leave because they were unionizing and organizing the workplace until they were found out, and then they got fired.
Or
Like,
worse,
and then
like,
they went to another place to work. It's amazing.
like back in before World War II, they wouldn't just be fired; they'd be tracked down and shot by
Well,
the
occasionally some people,
Well,
like not on the government organizers, but like more, or like if it was like, for example, a person with money, like
Yeah,
with
true.
IWW,
I think the problem is I watched that TV show Damnation, where they take like a couple of news clippings of like a person being shot, and this, and then cramming it into like a 3-week period of what happens in this town.
Mhm.
It's like, like, because
What's Damnation about? Is it about left-
Damnation is about a guy pretending to be a priest who goes to a small town. And he
Ooh.
says, yeah, the word of the Lord says that the farmers and the workers will inherit the world. So, we should band together and strike.
really?
Yeah, he gets all the farmers to start a farmers' strike and want better conditions and fairer pay for when they sell their goods to the main town called Holden. But the funny, I think I was talking about this. The funny thing is, like, they sell it to this market guy, and the guy is like kind of suspicious, and then it turns out that he's actually a part of an offshoot of the Ku Klux Klan called the Black Legion, and then the Black
Fucking hell.
Legion have been the ones like kidnapping farmers and being like, "Oh, you're a commie scum," and just hanging him in the middle of the street, and then it culminates in like this big, like, Western style shootout, and at that point I'm like, okay, this is a bit played up. But I also realized, like, because it's airing in America and they want like socialists and agitators and the workers to be the good guys, they'd had to find like this super evil thing that everyone would be against. But I could
Yeah,
still
like Goku's
imagine
clan.
someone somewhere in America watching it and thinking, "Yeah, go Black Legion, woo! I want them commies to get out of here."
Yeah.
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 Why did you say yeah?
Here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, here.
Here.
Yeah, here. Go
Here.
get.
Go
Go
and
get
get out here. Now, what we have here is failure to communicate.
Oh,
Yeah, I
God
can see
damn.
that. I can literally see that because like how else can you show an American that the communists are chill if you show like a Nazi or someone who's like really, really evil?
Well, I think, like, honestly, with this kind of things I've been hearing coming out of the US, it's a lost cause at this point.
Yeah.
Like, lots of people have been saying the only place the socialist revolution could succeed would be America, because America can't just invade itself. But I mean, it's jumped off the deep end so hard that once like the collapse really hits it, there's nothing that you can scrape together that could save America, and we could actually form the United Socialist States of America.
It's never going to happen because the majority of the left in the US are liberals, and unfortunately they're the type of liberals that just won't radicalize no matter what we do.
Hmm.
Eh,
There's no nuance.
Well, what's your opinion on the video that Twist made, the last video that he made on his YouTube channel? Have everyone seen it?
No, I haven't yet.
wait, Twist? Didn't he? I thought he shut down his channel.
Yeah, and he said he left a video when he said that the lost cause, blah blah blah, ideology, and
Oh.
that. Have you seen that?
Oh, so he basically thought that it was a revolution in Australia was a lost cause or something like that, or what?
No, he said on the revolution is a lost cause for our generation, being the least class conscious, and that just sitting on the internet doing nothing won't solve anything, and that like being a radical means doing radical things. Like he made it. It's like quite a video where he goes into detail where he says that basically it is almost impossible to do a revolution in our generation, and that it most likely won't happen in our generation, and it is our task to destroy the ideology of capitalism rather than aspire for socialist construction. And so our task is the destruction of the ideology that keeps it all together. That's basically his main argument.
Well, I think he's got a good point in that. I don't see violent revolution taking off in the US until shit gets a hell of a lot worse. Fingers crossed.
Mhm.
But even so, it's like, for example, like I went to my local, funnily enough, my local CPA meeting the other day, and
Mhm.
and you know what the Communist Party of Australia is going to be doing to limit and eventually destroy homelessness in South Australia. So at the moment, in Australia, this is quite big numbers, but in Australia, there are 7,843 people without homes as of now in South Australia. Okay. And that's just people who are officially classed as homeless. That's not considering people in low-income housing, stuff like who are literally just barely scraping by. So let's just put it out. In a country of 27 million, there are 10,000 people without a house in my state, and probably close to over 100,000 people who are damn near about to lose theirs. And the total amount of people in the Communist Party of Australia who can tackle this issue is 10 members sitting around a desk. And so you look at Socialist Alliance and Socialist Alternative. Again, they have in the hundreds of members, but Batco, your chapter is in the northeast and central coast around that area. So
Wherever that may be.
Wherever that may be. The biggest cities over there, so your numbers would be a lot larger. But then again, the demographics you guys have got to face. What's homelessness in Sydney like? It'd be fucking atrocious.
Compare Sydney to, say, Perth or Darwin or Melbourne, and raw numbers, you'll get, say, similar things. but you won't have the same situation. So a solution that 10 people come up with around a desk that might work in Adelaide might not work in Melbourne as well.
Exactly. And then again, you've got to factor in that Socialist Alliance and stuff are almost entirely young people. And a good chunk of them, I'm sure you've run into them back home, the liberal group that you see hanging around the front of the school every morning. They're all they're basically liberals masquerading as socialists. And the moment they enter the bourgeoisie sort of area, the petit bourgeois sort of, area of life, they're just going to abandon socialism and integrate into parliamentarianism. You know that's going to happen.
This is what Labour Party is all about, to be
exactly. Yes.
That's what Labour Party was.
Now,
I've always said it's a bit different because, like, where I am, sorry to hold that thought, TJ, because my chapter is quite, they don't really believe in the whole I mean, they do believe in parliamentarianism to an extent, but they still are quite revolutionary. I mean, if they can do parliamentarianism, they'll do it, but at the same time, they still would like to wield a revolution at some given point in time. So I say it's almost kind of like a bit of a form of like slick entryism and whatnot.
Well, it sounds like because at work I've been sitting at my desk in my workplace in between jobs, reading Reform and Revolution by Rosa Luxemburg. I wonder if people have noticed the giant red book with the hammer and sickle on the back at my desk. Not sure. Not sure if my managers have noticed yet, but but I've been reading it, and she made the point that parliamentarianism is useful in the same sense, in a subjective sense, in that parliamentarianism and agitation in terms of trade unions and stuff are good as a subjective sense for raising the class consciousness of the proletariat. But this is not the end. This is the means to an end. The parliamentarianism and the trade unionism is there to gain the organizational skills and the agitation levels of the proletariat to an extent where they may be in a position to overthrow the ruling classes. So a subjective approach to achieve the objective conclusion, that being the revolution of the working class against the bourgeoisie. Now, I would argue that because Rosa is orthodox Marxism and Trotsky's ideas of pure internationalism, while we can learn from them, I tend to agree with the modern school of thought that economics and globalization has changed the Marxist framework to an extent that no one really could have expected. The internet has changed politics entirely, I think.
Sure.
And I think that your activities, Batco, and mine to a lesser extent, and certainly Eastern Marshlands is here, the agitation online, the spreading of awareness, and the taking the piss at pretty much everything in order to sort of spread class consciousness. Because I've been talking to it a lot, and I think that when we use humor is often used as an educational tool. And Horrible Histories in the UK, one of my favorite shows of all time.
I love this show. I love it.
It uses history to teach history to kids, and it was effective. It was incredibly effective. And the history, while they took the piss out of it, the history that they did get across was true. Now, us shitposters are taking that approach to leftism as a whole. Half the tendencies and schools of thought of Marxism that I didn't know existed, I found out because some asshole had made fun of them. For example, I didn't know what a leftcom was until I'd heard Read Bordiger. And after I investigated it, I decided that I didn't want to read Bordiger. But at least I knew what was going on. And as long as the working class can have a basic understanding of all the basic concepts, that sets a foundation for us to expand on proper education.
Well, when you're talking about spreading class consciousness amongst our friends, I'm reminded of two incidents I used to do and what I do now when I was working somewhere. I don't want to reveal. It was a game store somewhere. I started.
You had to serve gamers.
I watched a couple of Batco's videos actually, and I started spending like hours on end staying up watching and learning this and that and whatnot. And then the next morning I'd open up the shop and then I'd wait for someone to walk in, and I'd see someone I'd know and say, "Hey, do you want to also learn about this thing that I learned about last night?" Like, what did you learn about? Well, the labor theory of value is. I'd sit them down and I'd reteach them, so I'd have to be like one video ahead of them. And then the second thing I did was there's three of my friends who love to have house parties because they love to dance, they love to hang out and whatnot, and they all live in the same house. So it's like board games night, like every night, and then every Saturday is like a party. And they're always like, oh, TK's fun, we'll invite him over. And every time I walk in and I say to my friend, "Hey, you work at Hungry Jack's, have you unionized yet?" And they're like, "Ha ha ha." That's funny, Noah, but you've got a point.
As I said, I snitched to the union while I worked at McDonald's. I was the union snitch because we actually had a massive. The biggest thing was what sparked that spoons.
Hello, Spoons.
Dabs.
How's it going, Spooks?
But yeah,
Pretty good. Yourself?
we're
fine.
all
Now
here.
we hear even finer. Huh.
We're just talking about Praxis. I was telling a story about how every party I would go to, I'd walk in and be like, "The thing about Stalin is that he did nothing wrong. Furthermore, the Holodomor is lies."
Yeah, TK, thank you. The snacks are over there, okay?
someone was actually like, "Oh, I'm glad you're here, TK. Oh, follow me. I've got some special surprise for you." And they took me to their laundry, and it said Gulag. And they opened the door, they pushed me in, they closed the door and locked it. And they said, "You're not coming out until you shut the fuck up about communism."
That's actually fucking hilarious.
Luckily, there was a comrade at the party that was feeding me spring rolls under the door.
La Resistance.
That's the tiny little anarchist who's just secretly giving mutual aid to you. You're going, "Oh yeah, I might not agree with everything you say, but fuck it, you're a socialist." So yeah.
Well, yeah, I was singing like "Solidarity Forever" and "La Internationale," even though I didn't know the lyrics, like as loudly as possible over the music they were listening to as well.
Oh,
That's right.
That's the first thing that happened at the last house party I went to. I got really drunk, and they're like, "Hang on, we need to play music. Wait, why does the music stop?" And they're like, "Oh, no, stop Pac-Man. He's getting near the stereo." And then like 5 seconds later, "Sayuski Rushim," just as loud as you can, just through the entire house. And it's just like Red Army Choir, like, yep, this was going to happen. You always knew this was going to happen. I followed it up with the Red Alert 3 march, actually, but yeah.
It reminds me of a story.
That's a pretty slick.
Lixnovic went to a house party on the day of the revolution. Like it was exactly the day of the revolution, and they sat down and wanted to watch some TV. And the point about TV in like Eastern Europe during those big things, it's always documentaries about the thing. And so it was a bunch of documentaries about the October Revolution, and obviously the guys who were with him were like 20-something liberals who were sitting there saying something like, "Nah, they give up the country to the fucking street cleaners and whatnot, and the street cleaners can't rule the country." And this is what they always say. Like, basically, they say, "Haha, plebeians."
Oh, God.
Like, haha, plebeians are now ruling the land. The street cleaners, the cooks are now, for some reason, in charge. And it's like, they had no right to go into the palace, the Winter Palace, and capture it. And, like, it's not theirs. It's like, Lex Novick was sitting there, Paul was sitting there, was like, "You know what? Shut the fuck up. They actually built it. It's theirs." It was literally like, "Dude, the workers built this."
And you know what?
Constantly.
It's like,
What?
yeah, they built it. And you know what? If Gorbachev hadn't sold us out, it would still be ours. Damn it.
just kicks the TV and grabs some red
Yes.
curtains from off the wall, waves it around. It's like the revolution 2.0 begins here.
And he jumps out a window and runs down the street naked to the presidential palace.
You know what we should do, TK? Seeing as arriving wherever you may be next week, I feel like we should go like find like a wildlife park nearby and like actually take a selfie staring at emus just angrily.
Well, it's like we've lost the emu war, but we've snuck up on them over the years to capture their young, and we've put them in cages. And we laugh at them every day.
You're training them. You're training them to destroy their own folk when they grow up.
It's
like
like
you're
if you-
building an emu army to defeat the emus.
Like when the Americans did it at Guantanamo Bay, it was considered a war crime, but we do it to the emus, and it's hilarious.
Emus are not even human.
But they
There ain't
fucking
a bunch of
deserve
flying.
it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of hilarious occurrences, has anyone fucking seen the whole fallout caused over Kim Jong Un's sister at the Winter Olympics?
Oh,
Oh, I
this the
haven't seen that
sister
yet.
that was executed or something?
What happened?
Huh?
No,
Okay, well,
sister is
basically-
actually chill.
Ah,
Kim
I was looking at the
Yo-jong.
ex-girlfriend. Sorry, go on.
So basically, Kim Yo Jong was basically like at the Winter Olympics because basically North Korea and South Korea came together unified as a single Olympic team, which I think is kind of nice. I really hope that like in
Cool.
the whole long run, we can learn more about what the fuck is going on in North Korea because I'm still of the impression that it's a state capitalist nightmare.
Yep.
So if we could finally get some fucking clarification as to whether it is a state capitalist nightmare or the juice paradise that tankies go on about, that'd be great. But moving right along, basically, she gave Mike Pence a good old fucking side eye during like the march, and everyone is just going fucking like fucking bonkers over it. And you get fucking people who are just like, just going, oh, she's a gulag queen, oh, she's evil and whatnot. And basically, you get people like who just make tweets like, reminded that CNN was more hostile to an American citizen who made a wrestling gift than to the representation of the most evil government on earth.
Oh,
Ooh.
No.
look, what
Most
really
evil
pisses
government.
me off, what really pisses me off is that fucking Mike Pence sat down during this whole march of them on like when they came on as unified Korea. Mike Pence sat down in protest or whatever, and the thing that made me laugh was like, hold on a minute, she's giving him the dirty side eye, yeah, because he's being disrespectful. But more to the point, we're talking about a unified Korea, and Trump's representative is sitting down. No, we don't want a unified Korea. Who are we going to blame for our arms budget now?
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's that meme again where it's like North and South Korea shaking hands. It's like maybe we should make some peaceful moves towards ending this armistice, and actually enacting some kind of peace between our two peoples. And then you just have America off to the side in like a sand pit going screeching its head off because it's not involved.
Yeah, I mean, fuck me. I mean, I think it is actually great that if North Korea and South Korea can fucking unite and just I don't know, like I think the whole sorting out the economy shit's going to be really odd because like the North Korean economy, surprisingly, despite all its fucking embargoes, is actually surpassing that of the South Korean economy currently.
Yeah.
So that's quite
in
interesting.
terms
That's
of growth numbers, not in terms of size, though. Like
Yeah.
they're growing faster.
true.
Yeah.
But so I just kind of wonder if they were to unify, what would the government look like, and what would it be like? Would Kim Jong Un like reject his powers? Would they form some sort of socialism, or would they basically be able to have kind of like just like it just basically be like two states?
Well, yeah. If
like
there
in-
was-
FRG.
like
if
there's
America
Korea.
did- if
then
America and Russia and whatnot didn't get involved, and if China didn't get involved, I reckon there would be like a period of cooperation on any matters of foreign policy. So internal economics between North and South Korea would be separate. It'd be, autonomous zones. But if there was like some decision that needed to be made where the Korean Peninsula needed to make a decision on whatever problem, then they would come together and say, all right, let's work out what we both are going to do. And that would be like a big
So something
first
like
step
an
towards it.
alliance rather than like
Yeah.
a federation with a high level of autonomy.
Yeah.
Well, it's never
the
going to
step-
happen.
Right?
Well, the step after that, of course, would be to say, well, if internally we are, if we're cooperating externally, well, then internally, how do we cooperate? And it's like, oh, okay, we have a factory that need workers. You have workers. Let's start to have flow of citizens back and forth up and down the Korean Peninsula, and then it's from there they can really start to unify. So, what were you going to say, Pac-Man?
Well, I was just saying that I think that you're probably going to have what will happen where it'll turn into very similar to the FRG, Federal Republic of Germany. What's going to happen is you're going to have one big country and everyone's going to look like a happy family on the surface, but the north is still going to be extremely poor and underdeveloped, and it's going to hemorrhage people because now that you have freedom of movement, a lot of people are going to move south for better and brighter things. But although rather ironically,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, please go on.
I think that it might actually have the inverse effect, considering the trend of the world right now. It might actually be an inverse effect, and maybe this is just the Posadist in me talking. But if North Korea is like the Soviet Union was, the only country that is not sort of fully committed to globalism, if the world economy does collapse, we could see the rather ironic situation of the North Koreans being the only economy which actually survives.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, because
That
the
would
Soviet
be. Yeah.
Union had the same issue. During the Great Depression, the entire Western world collapsed, and there was only one country that had sustained economic growth and sustained living standards, and that was the USSR, because its economy wasn't linked into the other economies. So if the world economy really does collapse, we could see the rather ironic position of North Korea being the world's economic powerhouse.
Are you telling me the tankies are right in saying that it's the one place that North Korea is a bastion of socialism in the modern day?
It's a bastion
It's
of
the bastion of anti-globalism.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the bastion of socialism because the workers don't own the means of production, and the fucking government is a hyper-tyrannical, militarized state with an oligarchic leadership. So it's basically the Soviet model just with Juche. But
Juche gang. Say it with me now. Juche gang.
Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang. Heard some bitch from Pyongyang. Actually, you know what? I actually have the fucking lyrics for Juche gang. I'm just fucking working on it. I can give you guys a fucking preview of it, actually.
nah,
you should,
I want
give
to
us a-
You
say
should make it. When is it going out? When do you release it?
Oh god, I've always been kind of like fucking like prolonging it because I got like a fucking illegalist anthem that I started working on.
Okay.
Then I got a fucking Juche gang. Then I kind of want to do like, but a nice way to start it off would be like Mother Anarchy loves her sons. But then I was fucking listening to Gorillaz, and now I kind of want to do like a Feel Good Inc. Parody of it to maybe set it up. I think that'd be pretty good. So I got like a whole fucking bunch of ideas. But basically, basically I could just give you a quick preview of the lyrics, just like the first bar. So basically
Sure.
it goes, all right, so boom, dun, dun, Juche gang, yeah. Then it goes, Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang. I call the shots from Pyongyang, yeah, the USA can go, fuck, never mind. Fucking fucked up with the lyric. But basically the USA can piss off and go hang. I project bitch, I forgot a name. People around the world call me insane. I don't give a fuck, man, it's all the same. Juche gang, Juche gang, Juche gang.
That's pretty cool.
So I
I
just
like
need to
that.
I just need to work on the lyrics and like the tempo and the rhythm, but like I reckon I fucking got it.
What amazes me though, and I will say this openly, is Backo, it's been what? Like, because you have 8,000 subscribers now.
Yeah.
Fuck
Like-
me dead, cunt.
Like, to put it in perspective, we first collabed a year ago. Like, it's been a year since you did the Anarchist Anthem, and that has like 22,000 views. And you had what, like 3,500 subscribers at the time. You now have over double that in the space of 10 months. You have doubled in size.
I think it probably might have to do with the fact that I did that fucking what was it? That response to PragerU.
Yeah,
that was probably it.
That got like to 50,000 views, didn't it?
Yeah,
that was a beautiful takedown of PragerU.
I got like. You know what's funny? I always kind of look at the dislike bar, and I said it's got at the current moment it's got like 8,859 dislikes. I'm going, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. But then I look in comparison, and I go on my computer, and the problem is they don't really show how many the exact number of likes you get, like in the thousands. But I see like the 2,000 mark, and I'm going, yeah, you know what? I think I'm all right. I think I did good. And the problem is that you get like so much fucking butthurt, fascist fanboys who say, "Oh well, no, actually, we're actually third positionist. We're not anti-leftist." So I'm going, son, you fucking purged commies. You pretty much abolished trade unions. You don't give a shit about the working class, and you fucking maintain reactionary institutions. You're not fucking leftist at all. There's nothing third positionist about you, unless you're a fucking Strasserist. Then yeah, maybe I can understand, but you just don't. But you're not.
Oh, not even no.
And then of course you just get the whole fucking butthurt PragerU fanboys who fucking start calling me pro-Hamas because I dared fucking make a joke about Israel. So that really.
The best one is PragerU's latest video, and I still demand you do a response to that.
What's the latest video?
The alt-right has more in common with the left than it does with the
bullshit. When did they do this? I'm checking this out now.
They did it. They
fucking did
I have
it.
a headache now as well. Fucking hell.
Gee, oh my god.
What is this?
They jump through so many fucking hoops to say the alt-right is a little bit critical of capitalism. They're fucking Stalinists, aren't they?
Oh wait, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but basically, a whole lot of bunch of right-wing people. I know, was this before the is fascism left or right? Because I'm looking at PragerU's channel now. I don't see squat.
Yeah,
I see how Lincoln
changed the world. Yeah.
What is the alt-right?
Climate change.
Oh, what is the alt-right? Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not going to bother fucking doing a response to that because I feel
the alt-right is the best video they ever did because they have so many fucking dislikes on it because alt-right came to them
exactly.
and said,
That's the problem.
Dude, fuck off.
Here's the thing. I feel like if I did that, if I did a response to what the alt-right was, I'd basically get a bunch of people who from the alt-right saying, "Oh no, you got it wrong." But on the other hand, however, I got a whole bunch of fascists who came across my fascism video, and they said,
"Okay,
hey, you got that shit right. Good on you, man. You fucking know what it is." And I'm going, seriously, seriously, you know that you're doing something right when you have actual fascists show up on your fucking YouTube channel, say, "Oh yeah, that was a pretty good video." I'm going,
that was a pretty good video. Everything is correct, dude.
Yeah, you say that we hate Marxists. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, good on you. Yeah, that's right. We do fucking hate Marxists.
And I'm going son, and basically, unironically, I'd say, when it comes to just Jesus Christ. Whenever I fucking look at the dislike, I just go, that's 859, politically illiterate plebs, and about half of them just might be a bunch of dickweed fascists who say that they're third positionist. So, or PragerU fanboys. So I really just kind of go oh yeah, I'm good with that.
That whole video, my response was a 1-minute video, and that is a horseshoe drift. That is just that is full horseshoe theory. You're
trying to bend the horseshoe backwards so far that you can just hear the creaking of the metal, and it's just won't bend. But
it's not even horseshoe theory anymore. It's ring theory. You have bent, this political ring theory so far.
Mobius strip theory.
You know what's fucking hilarious about it is that basically I'm just wondering because my next video is going to be debunking Joseph Klein's "Why Communism is Violent" video.
Oh, good.
You saw that one where it's in order to keep socialism afloat, you got to rule people through fear. And what better way to rule people through fear than to threaten to send their families to the gulag? Wow!
Hey!
Oh, triggered yet liberals? I mean, commies.
It's like whenever I talk to like the radical centrists of my friends, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you're into socialism and whatnot," you know. So you love the idea of like using violence for your political gains. I'm like, hold on a second, motherfucker. I'll go to like my workplace and say, "Hey, I don't like how I'm being underpaid." Suddenly, my boss gets militant towards me. If there's a group of people in the world that try to feed themselves, suddenly security guards show up and saying, "No, you can't do that." Whenever people try to enact some kind of a way that will improve their lives, that won't give a profit to the profit makers, violence is used against them.
Yeah, like you would think. As I said, I swear to God, I have sympathy for anarchism, but I swear to God, I'm becoming more and more Maoist by the day. It's just sort of like, but you can't use violence. Okay, so what happens? What would happen, for example, if the police, how did the police stop the criminal? They draw a gun and shoot them. Right. Okay. So how is the state enforcing the law? By having police officers, right? And how do those police officers enforce the law? With guns. Right! So what you're saying is that the state has the monopoly on violence. So if a power has the monopoly on violence, what does they use this violence for? To enforce the law. Right. So if we want to change the law to a more fair and just system, and the powers that be don't want us, what are they going to do? Are they going to stop us with what? The monopoly on violence. Yes, thank you. So it's just this whole thing. As I said, I am thinking of doing that. Actually, literally carrying a paraphrased pamphlet of combat liberalism. And every time I come up against someone who's like, "Oh, you can't use violence," I'm going to throw it at them. I'm going to fold it around a brick and throw it at them.
Here's the funny thing. I find it hilarious how basically, like, people who are sympathetic to capitalism constantly go. Basically, he says this because Joseph Klein did like a response article to the responses in the video that he got, and basically he said, "Oh, well, you see, capitalism doesn't always have to be violent. I mean, basically, look at Switzerland. They're hardly involved in any Switzerland and Sweden. They're hardly involved in any violent activities at all. Here's the thing. I fucking take a gander." I take a huge gander with my mate Danov, who I'm doing the thing with, and I'm going, "Oh, really? Is that the case?" And I just look it up, and I'm going, "Oh, Switzerland, military." Fucking one of the first articles that comes up is Switzerland is one of the biggest arms dealers in the world, and they sell their arms to Saudi Arabia, fucking China, and what's the other place? I think Russia. And both of them are very heavily involved in like military conflicts.
Imperialism.
Yeah, and imperialism.
Like one little squidgerididge on the internet, you find out that Sweden is actually being like the biggest proponent of violence in the world.
Yeah, Sweden, yes.
My favorite one is this.
Ridiculous.
I'm looking at I googled Switzerland's armed forces just to have a quick look. And I'm just sort of laughing because I'm thinking Swiss Army and Swiss Air Force. And I'm like, well, they're landlocked, so they don't need a navy. But I'm just thinking that maybe they would kind of need a navy because they've got lots of mountains with rivers and shit. So what? Like, I kind of want to go to Switzerland and form the Swiss Navy and just be some guy in a rowboat.
Well, they have that.
Our entire navy is just one guy in a rowboat with an AK.
Yeah,
Switzerland
exactly.
has that lake that they border, and they have a navy, I believe, and it's just one boat.
I think it's Bodensee, you know?
Yeah,
It's like, yo.
Bodensee. Lake Constance. Oh, I didn't know it had a name. Wait, is it? Yeah, there is a lake. Bodensee, yeah, Lower Saxony. It's on the border with Switzerland.
Hey guys, they actually do have one. The Lakes Flotilla. It's one boat. It's one boat.
That guy.
It's an Aquarius patrol boat, and it's got a fucking 50 cal mounted on the front.
Fuck yeah.
It's just one boat.
Dude, that's like
I love
the fucking like we get fucking we should get like when we make the Eureka Socialist Gang, we should kind of like give each other video sorry, not vehicles and stuff. And one of them can either be like that boat, right? So just the fucking boat, you just go around with like the fucking thing. And the other one that I was that I'd fucking be great is that like if I can fucking say it's like my catchphrase, it's like quick to the Macnobile. And it's just literally just like a giant machine gun lodged on a fucking truck, and then you just run around.
No, Backhoe, you've got a fucking Holden Commodore Ute with a fucking 50 cal stuck backwards facing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it.
It's not even front facing like a technical. It's literally facing backwards.
Yeah.
Comrade, why is it not on a sponsor mount? How come that 50 cal isn't 360? Because I'm LARPing, damn it! I can only shoot backwards. The horse is there.
Oh man, that's good.
No, I if we were to have the Eureka Socialist Gang in vehicles, I am an aviation person, so I'd have like a Cessna armed with a nuclear missile on it. I don't know how I'd.
At the Nerf events I attend, wherever that may be, we're actually thinking of adding in vehicles pretty soon. So we're gonna we're gonna have people in like full camo with Nerf blasters and whatnot, going for like bush bashing around, and then we find the enemy team in vehicles. We're gonna have mounted Nerf blasters on the top. But I just want to reveal to you my secret plan. Right, is while I attend these things, I slowly spread class consciousness and talk about politics and whatnot, and get everybody on the side of the cause. And then when the revolution kicks off, right, everyone's already in camo. They already know how to move in squads and how to hide in the bush and how to attack positions and whatnot. So we just swap out the Nerf blasters for real weapons.
You secretly fucking converted and created people's militia out of a Nerf thing he's going.
That's a quality protected it's literally it's Nerf will kill the bourgeoisie.
It's Nerf, mate.
It's the fucking People's War.
The worst part of like
Nerf
a protracted
People's
10-year Nerf war is trying to pick up all the darts afterwards.
That's the worst.
That's the funny thing. Fucking airsoft being illegal in Australia. I fucking
gay.
I hate that.
Gay.
We have gel ball blasters being, I think, legal now, and HVA blasters also being legal because there's a new wording in the legislation which says that a device that is used to launch the little balls you put in water and then they expand, and devices that fire fully foam darts or projectiles, and so long as they don't resemble real firearms, are
So good.
I believe legal. So yeah, so we can get gel ball blasters that look like futuristic blocks of technology that shoot little balls and whatnot. But
Nice.
the weird thing is we were already running around with high powered air Nerf blasters, and they could basically, you could set those things to shoot whatever you want at whatever feet per second. So you could turn one little dial and have a Nerf blaster that could shoot a dart at like Mach 1 if you wanted.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's
That's gonna
ridiculous.
fucking hurt.
that'd
Yeah.
hurt.
Oh fuck yeah! Like there's an FPS cap at the event that I won't say the name of, and it's about 300 feet per second. But feet per
Damn.
second translates really well into kilometers per hour. So 300 feet per second is 300 k's an hour.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a tough world out there, mate. In a Nerf war. You over there in your Pilicky Kurdistan, fucking come to the bush and shoot foam darts at one another. That's war. That's war. I tell you what.
I swear to God, ISIS would lose the war in a heartbeat if they had to fight a guerrilla war against our wildlife. I'm sorry.
They'll be ripped apart by like wildcats in the Daintree forest, and then as they retreat into the Nullarbor, the bloody emus and rabbits will eat them alive, and we'll be safe.
No, I'm gonna share a link in the chat, which people don't know. People
Get 'em.
don't know what happens, man. because it's quite honestly, this is the kind of terror that people have to face. You want to share that in the YouTube chat as well, TK?
Yep.
That is the kind of terror people have to face.
Oh no.
That wombat's fucking decked out. He's ready to rumble. He's ready to fuck shit up.
Anti-imperialist wombat. Combat wombat, man. It's the
Combat wombat.
Combat wombat. Maybe that's a fucking like sidekick character or something like that. Because you know how like
For those that are watching this later, it's a wombat with like missiles strapped to its back, ready to launch them in the middle of the field. And I'm just like, I've seen a wombat in the wild, mate. They don't need any extra armament or even just regular like body armor. They're a fucking thick bowling ball that will knock down trees just so it could get either away from you or towards you. And if it's coming at you,
run.
That's
Run.
the last thing you will fucking see.
Yeah, like literally, like even like my fucking like I remember just going like near the it was like somewhere near Victoria, and basically we're going to this it's like this little resort, and we saw a couple of wombats fucking around, and we're going, oh sweet, it's a wombat, look at it. But basically but our fucking instructor tells, nah, don't fucking go for it, do not touch it. It will fuck with you. It will kick your ass.
It will.
And we
just square up and then throw you down.
Yeah, fuck it. It's literally like basically if you thought that the whole. I actually no. I'll say it now. The wombats are the literal embodiments of. They're literally one mammal thought patrol.
One man thought patrol.
That's really what they are. They like this shit. Like you fucking like you try and like start shit with the wombat. They actually like they start grunting at you, and those grunts roughly translate to square up thought.
No, seriously, man. Like actually you're right. We should just get a Marvel's Universe thing. Like instead of Rocket like the raccoon, we have Combat Wombat.
Combat Wombat. I mean,
we actually need to do this now, but I can't draw.
Yo, I just opened my Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I see is a tweet. I will read it verbatim. The North Korean cheerleaders are creepy, okay? They're slave laborers selected for their beauty and then taught chants they perform for the great leader. It's creepy you'll like them. I'm sorry, what is evangelical Christians in America?
Yeah, I was about to say, like...
literal fucking praises for President Trump? Or cheerleading in general?
It's fucking creepy to see Trump at his desk surrounded by evangelical people praising God, and then like having a priest lean over and just plop his hand on the Trump's face just and be like, oh, the Lord God blesses you, Trump, for everything you're doing today as you sign a document that's gonna fuck over all the workers in America.
Well,
God.
Well, here's the thing. Well, even Trump, our all-powerful leader of the free world, even he, pussy grabber though he is happy he's not Barnaby Joyce right now.
Oh, fuck me. What is it? By the way, I don't like gay marriage because it's basically goes against traditional marriage. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to fuck my own secretary and commit a form of adultery.
You've got to protect the sanctity of marriage. Oh, excuse me, I'm just going to go not fuck my wife, but my secretary. Like, seriously, it's happening so fast. I don't even know like what's going on. So there's like 3 different things that's like fucking, what is it? Barnaby Joyce and his secretary and what he said about gay marriage, and then something else. What's the timeline with these events?
I don't know, man, but it's like it's all happening way too fast, and it's great to see fucking people like Barnaby Joyce like be fucking like get kicked out. Oh, Evan's back.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I made a comment somewhere on the Facebooks when someone posted like a picture of like Barnaby in a hat and shorts in the rain waiting for a taxi, and he looks like some regular farmer from bumfuck nowhere, and he's like, the caption was like, this is our deputy prime minister, people. And my comment was, in awe of the absolute incompetence of this lad. What an absolute unit. It got like 10 ha-ha reacts and like 20 likes. I was pretty proud of myself.
That's pretty nice, man. It's good. But yeah, fucking yeah. But basically, Barnaby Joyce. For those who don't know, Barnaby Joyce is our deputy prime minister, and basically he basically is a huge conservative, very much against gay marriage and whatnot. And basically, just what we just said, he was against it because it was an abomination in the face of traditional marriage. And basically, next minute, he fucking commits a form of adultery. So unless adultery is a form of traditional marriage, I wouldn't believe you. It's a bit odd, to be honest. But makes you think. It gets your cortex in a vortex. It gets the head out of bed. It gets the noggin jogging.
Get the dunny in the ditch.
Gets the dunny in the ditch.
I heard that one the other day from an older gentleman. It was like an off-heard conversation, like blah 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 blah. Yeah, well, that's not a good situation, eh? Well, he gets a dunny in your ditch, eh? I'm like, that man is not Australian. He is a spy who does not understand colloquialisms and the things we say.
Australian's a spy. I fucking love it. I miss Team Fortress 2.
Oh, it's still there.
I know,
You
but
can
like,
still play it.
but like the problem is that like its community's really kind of gone down, and apparently, I've used to play it a lot, but then I just had to get all these fucking updates, and it just like takes so fucking long, and I was like, oh fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, it's true. You have Australian internet.
Yeah, and with Australian internet, it's like, yeah.
Say hello to like 38,000 ping. I kid you not. I joined a server one time at random. Like, I wonder what the ping's going to be like. It's like 500, 2,000, 10,000, 38,000. Like, what?
And then just says 9999, and you know that you're fucked.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, yo, there is this news piece we could talk about. Like one of my friends sent to me. In Australia, it's from abc.net.au. There was a thing basically in a company. They said, you know what, we should try to do like blind recruitment tests, blind recruitment trials, so that on the CVs there will be no names, so people wouldn't identify whether it is female or male, and so that would technically like result in more females getting hired for senior job positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what they found out is that the amount of women hired, like it said that basically if there was a name on the thing, if there was a female name on the CV, that would increase your chances of being hired compared to no name. For no reason, like nobody knows why. They say we're going to pause and hold this practice, and and after reading this article, I was like, you know what? Isn't it weird that actually like gender equality and like all of those, gender questions and feminism is more complicated than just a couple of men being sexist? Maybe it's actually like bigger than that, and just there is no way to just solve it by no names. Haha, solved.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that from the looks of it.
I'm gonna be perfectly candid with you. I'm still fucking fascinated that people are still doing the whole fucking the anti-feminist shit to this day. Yeah. It is so fucking 2014. It is so old. And when you actually start to read a lot more about feminist theory, be it through anarcho-feminism, Marxist feminism, or more liberal forms of feminism, or even fucking postmodernist feminism.
Don't.
Yes, postmodernism, feminine, embrace it.
Oh yeah, Jordan Peter. It's totally Marxist, by the way. That postmodernist feminism. Truly spreading.
What really matters is that Harry Potter's owl was bisexual, says J.K. Rowling. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
It's like, she's frantically looking through a book and being like, did you know that Moaning Myrtle is actually trans? Oh, yeah, that's representation. Yeah. Worship me now. Worship me. I'm a part of the community. Oh, just flip it through this book. Did you know that Hagrid is he's
a bear?
He suffers from
he actually identifies as a bear. That's basically that's really inclusive of other kin.
I swear, oh god, I swear, literally, every time I see one of those freaking, liberal feminists walking around like, yes, well, all this, I just want to, I am really coming to treasure my copy of Rosa Luxemburg's collected works. I'm just like, And I'm just gonna be like, here, have a copy. Oh, here, have a copy of Emma Goldman's book too. Like, come on, you want? Oh, what about the suffragette movement in Victorian England? Here you go, have a look.
I fucking love that. I mean, you know what I need to do? I just need to make fucking art of like Emma Goldman and Rosa Luxemburg and just make them look like the girls from Pop Team Epic. I literally, that's all I got to do, and then and I think I'd fucking get a shit ton of tweets, and like, because I think that they're amazing. Because I think that their criticism of liberal feminism is fucking amazing, and I think that if you are going to identify as a feminist, you cannot identify as a fucking liberal or a capitalist, because those are the institution and the economies that fucking perpetuate the idea, like, you know, this whole idea of exploitation and limits to freedom. And on top of that, the capitalists really will fucking deal with you know, fucking reactionary regimes such as, you know, Saudi Arabia, where they treat their women like shit. But all of a sudden you're gonna fucking chuck your league in with fucking you know, Hillary Clinton, and say what you will about fucking, you know, who's the guy, Gaddafi. At least he made an effort to get rid of sex slavery, and fucking Hillary just started to stage a coup because LeMayo, that's not fucking profitable.
Besides old mate Gaddafi's all-female attractive women death squad.
Yeah, like
you're a liberal feminist. That means what's more valuable, women's rights or oil?
Oil. What a question to ask the capitalist.
Who cares about women's rights when we have oil?
Alright, Mr. Capitalist. We can either.
But guys, we can totally solve this problem. See, we can solve this problem if the CEOs of those oil companies are, wait for it, women. Ooh.
Bravo!
Like,
Anyone, look, all I'm going to say is...
No, better yet, not just any women, a trans woman. Ooh!
Whoa,
like
that's really
10
progressive.
people,
This is
10
great.
people
This is
control
great.
all the world's wealth.
Hallelujah.
It's like half of them should be women.
No, but that's
Well,
the thing.
that will solve everything.
There are not enough female CEOs. Excuse me. All I'm going to say is 2 words: Gina Reinhardt. All I have to say. Australian workers are too expensive, so I'm going to like sack half of you and import foreign workers so I can pay them less.
Isn't she the one that had
not
drones
only are
flying
you-
over her mines to spy on her own workers?
Exactly, yeah. Like, not
Oh.
only is she exploiting Australian workers, and because they have lower wages than any other group in the mining industry, then she says they're too expensive, so she sacks them and hires foreign workers on travel visas and signs separate contracts as you know, foreign workers, so they can work low-income jobs. You know, all foreign workers in Australia, like the majority of which are mostly students from places like Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Southeast Asia, Middle East as well, Afghanistan. All of these countries, they come over on student visas and such. They work part-time for like Uber or McDonald's. A lot of my co-workers were. And at my current workplace, they are too. And, you know, the professional area is the same. Big companies will bring them over because they can get them on lower contracts.
Yeah.
And so Gina Reinhardt sacked all of the Australian workers and hired foreign workers instead. And her open argument, and she openly said it, like, you know, oh, we can't sustain the burden of these high wages. The Australian unions push too hard, and I'm sort of thinking, like, what you're saying is like, I can't exploit the Australian workers enough, so I'm going to get some brown people and exploit them more. And I'm thinking,
fucking hell.
and she shills and supports the Liberal Party, and I'm thinking,
What is
like-
wrong with you?
I
I
don't know.
I think isn't she the one who wrote that really horrible poem?
I read it. I read the poem.
I got it. Actually, no, shit, I got it up right now. Yeah, here it is. Gina Reinhardt
Please, Batkin.
pens universe's worst poem. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read. Oh, and other people of people of all genders. I'm going to read the poem written by Gina Reinhardt, titled "Our Future."
Capitalism.
So here we go. The globe is sadly groaning with debt, poverty, and strife. And billions now are pleading to enjoy a better life. The hope lies with resources buried deep within the earth, and the enterprise and capital with give each project worth. Holy shit, fucking tempo is horrible.
I know, right?
Is our future threatened with massive debts run by political hacks, implying, who dig themselves out by unleashing rampant tax? Oh, God. The end result is sending Australia investment growth and jobs offshore. Employing the type of discretion is harmful to our core. Some envious, unthinking people have been conned to think prosperity is created by waving a magic wand. Through such unfortunate ignorance, too much abuse is hurled against miners, workers, and related industries who strive to build the world. Develop North Australia, embrace multiculturalism, and welcome short-term foreign workers to our shores to benefit from the tie of our minerals and ores. The world's poor need our resources. Do not leave them to their fate. Our nation needs a special economic zones and wiser government before it is too late. Whoever
Great. Now I have cancer.
That was the worst.
hang on a second. I'm just gonna get up my Zizeko meter and just scanning it right now. Yeah, the ideology is going off the fucking charts here.
Only the dead can know peace from this ideology.
But
It's like it's so bad, and like then they say that capitalists are creating something. Look at this. Is it art? This is the art that the capitalists can create. She literally wrote this poem. It's disgusting.
This poem has no use value.
If I filmed a
ridiculous.
cow shitting in the woods, it would be more art than whatever this was.
Yes.
Anybody could walk onto a stage and fart for 5 minutes into a microphone. It'd still be better than her poem.
you know, fucking Bitcoin has more value than this.
Oh, God.
Oh, wait, no, just plunged. I lost all my money.
This is the thing. Like, you listen to a poem like the peak ideology, but
Holy
even
shit, you're
further,
right. Bitcoin went down $1,000.
But no, it's just the idea of it. So our answer is to allow foreign workers to come in at cut wages to take Australian jobs, and then cut taxes for social programs so Australians can't get education to get those jobs. I spoke to a teacher today, funnily enough, and asked her what her class sizes are. Do you know how many teachers are in how many students are in an Australian public school class now?
25?
29.
Jeez.
Oh god.
Okay, and like that's in one class, you know, and I just this is some schools like in Victoria they have a cap. It's like supposed to be 25 in Victoria. New South Wales it's higher than that. Then you go to universities, and in Australia's universities there's no student limit per lecture, per tutorial or whatever. You can have as many as you want as far as I'm aware. But I'm just sort of thinking to myself, like, how long has it got to go on? Because I swear, like, even though we joke and we sort of carry on about how laissez-faire Australia is, the class consciousness is definitely rising. It really is. And I'm speaking to Aussies from every demographic every day, and I ask them, you know, what they think about certain issues. And the class consciousness is definitely starting to grow. Unionism is wanting to make a comeback. The other problem is Australian trade unions are all in the pocket of the businesses anyway.
Yeah. So we just need to get them out of the... I mean, we just basically need to fucking get, like, you know, the real fucking, like, socialist unions back and just, like... If we could actually... Like, unironically, I used to kind of... I was at a bit of a phase where I even was kind of considering dropping syndicalism altogether. Because I was kind of going, oh, yeah, it's got some good theory, but I'm not too sure about its praxis now. But when I start to look at Australia more often, I'm kind of going... You know, I kind of like start singing that song and just, you know, go... You know, I belong, you belong, we belong to the union.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, you should have ditched it and become a Jucheist.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I think that what's great about it is if we can fucking get, like, a lot of people within socialist lines, even Solidarity, they're talking about, mate, the unions are what's going to fucking bring it forward. So if we could, like, adopt some sort of fucking, like, some form of syndicalism, I think that would be fucking neato burrito. And the Australian Anarcho-Syndicalist Federation of shitposting could fucking be a reality. It could actually be a reality. I could actually mean this shit into real life.
This is it, lads. We're announcing the beginning of the Blue Mountains Commune. Grab your shit. We'll meet you at the peak, and then we'll start We'll start there.
TK, you and I were talking about it last night. I think I want to announce it on email. We were talking the other night about ideas for spreading class consciousness, and I came up with, and I know it's not an old idea, it was tried out in France in a different form. The conquest of bread bakery in Paris is a wonderful thing, and I'm thinking that Australia needs a version, and I'm thinking the proletarian pizza house in West Melbourne.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to teach you how to make baguettes?
No, I was thinking that we could. Well, we won't, even though it's going to be an Italian restaurant. I'm not thinking about stocking it with Bordiga.
No, that's
Although it
actually, it will be fun. We'll be unironically supporting ISIS and just sitting around, shouting at everyone. It will be great.
As I said,
Every chair is a armchair.
Yeah, every
no.
chair is an armchair, and there's an ISIS flag. It will be great.
Oh no, actually, hey, you know how like most pizza bars have like only got like one seated area, and it's like one like little corner of the pizza bar. I'm thinking if
Yeah.
we start that with a shop front, we should have like 2 armchairs with a table in between, and it should be called Bordiga Corner. With a pile of
Yeah, it will be great.
No, but like honestly, the French guys in Paris did it, and I'm thinking, well, if we could start the proletarian pizza house under the same concept, it'd be great.
I'll
should
teach you
have-
how to
In
make
Europe, there are
pizza.
so many. Yeah,
should have
in
a
Europe there are
Maoist,
so
like,
many
great
like
leap
communes. Yeah.
We should have a Maoist great leap forward, but instead of making like schmelteries in our backyard, we should make pizza ovens.
Yeah,
in our
wood pizza
backyards.
ovens. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, pizza ovens in the backyard. I can.
the great
like-
leaper forward. The great leaper
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Actually, there are so
well-
many like communally owned workplaces in Europe. Like my friend went to Barcelona, like this spring last summer actually, and he went to a random like random restaurant, right? And he sat down, and it had like a plaque on the front which said work owned by the workers since blah blah blah, yeah, like for 17 years basically. And he sat down, and a guy came over and said, what are you going to order? And he ordered food, and then asked in broken English, so is it like a worker-owned workplace? He's like, yes, we have been a cooperative for 17 years now, and we're really proud of this. And like, he was listening to him, and then he understood like there is no leftism anywhere here. There is no like red flag. The dude is not talking about communism or socialism in any way, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, that's the way how it should be. Like they just own the place, and they're proud of it. Like it's leftist enough, you know.
There are so many examples of different places that have just enough class consciousness that there's just enough, like banding together of the workers, that if we could just get them all to connect up and organize just that little bit more, then we could actually live in a better world.
well,
But it's just the liberals are getting in the way.
Yeah, we live and we hope.
no, I'm not actually joking about that idea. I'm actually serious. I think
It's my dream.
Speaking-
My dream to work in such a place. To be honest.
Speaking of absolute fucking liberal outrage, I don't know if we fucking talked about this on the podcast, but the liberals are trying to ban the Rican stockade flag.
Fucking angry!
Yes, I am so fucking livid about that.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
oh, it's ridiculous. It's purely just to target union people. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's not about
Fucking anti-communism. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's
workers are organizing. This is this symbol. Let's ban it, man.
the specific wording.
It's just like
is,
swastika, you know.
is construction workers that are working government contracts who
Yeah.
have the Eureka flag either flown or on their equipment or whatnot, will be they'll be banned from the site, and the flag is banned from the site as well, and they'll face fines and whatnot. But it says nothing about any other flag. So what I'm thinking is we convince a bunch of like the CFMEU guys to fly the flag of the Soviet Union as a protest. And then there'll be ooh, what do you think?
That's a kind of playing a bit close to the chest. I mean, here's the thing. I think that look, I know that like here's the thing. I don't necessarily hold anything wrong. I don't find anything remotely wrong about the hammer and sickle and whatnot. But the problem is that it's often associated with like the USSR. And I feel like, so like, here's the thing, like, obviously it's like, oh no, it represents communism, but there's no, it's the USSR, So I think like, unless you could find a way, I think there was like this really cool, like, there was a really cool anarcho-collectivist or anarcho-communist ANC, which is like made from a hammer and sickle and whatnot. So I don't know, maybe we could wave that instead. Or basically, you know what would be great? Just get like bust out some old IWW shit and just and just wave some cats.
Or have like the red flag. And then you have in yellow the pickaxe and the shovel.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because Australians know that. They're like, oh yeah, that's the mining, mining workers banding together, that kind of thing. I'm 100% behind that. When secretly, that's the Australian version of the hammer and sickle.
No, you're all wrong. I shared it in the chat. You need to see what I think.
All right, a second. Oh god, it's from Reddit. Oh boy, I better not be disappointed.
Oh, fuck, it's red.
Oh boy. Oh, actually.
That's the banner for my YouTube channel, by the way.
That's great.
Actually, no joke. I actually went onto the anarchist T-shirt making site. I need to find it again, and I actually had it made into a T-shirt. So I have actually founded the official Eureka Posadas gang. Anyone who wants to join, just hit me up.
Oh my god!
Okay, so for those who
I need to go again.
All right,
okay, see you later, man.
Okay, see you later.
All right, so for those who can't see it, basically, it is a picture of the Eureka Stockade flag, but it's colored red, and in the center of the flag, at the cross, there's a nuclear symbol. It's like the, it's basically the radioactive symbol. So yeah.
Imagine a bunch of like CFMEU guys marching on Parliament with like the regular CFMEU flags, Eureka flags, and then there's one guy there who looks a little too eager for the apocalypse, flying that flag.
Oh, hey, that's me.
CFMEU here to stay, whatnot, like burn it all down, bomb it to hell. Like, are you?
Everyone!
Are you really with us? Like, yeah. Look, it's the Eureka flag. Yeah, mate, but why?
Just fucking imagine just like fucking Posadas Pac-Man just literally go nuke it all, and then just basically a fucking A. LeMayo just pops up out of nowhere behind him and said, "Yes, listen to him." Do it.
Yeah, and actually, that would be funny. Somebody was like, "Why?"
Do it, and your journey towards Posadism will be complete.
And what would be funny if somebody like literally was going, what's it all about? Like, okay, dude, let me tell you a little story about the aliens. Come over here.
Hits blunt.
I don't know why, but now I'm imagining like an ANCAP version of Star Wars, where Darth Vader is Anakin is like, what happened? It's like, it seems in your anger you nuked them. But they violated the NAP.
Actually, I've actually got a fucking script written for it. It's either like gonna be, instead of calling it Star Wars, I was gonna call it Class Wars. And basically, I'm juggling between whether it should be Anarcho Com Kenobi or Anarkin Cap Walker. And basically, so yeah, and basically, I'm kind of thinking would be great is that basically, would be great is that because when it comes to like, there's two versions of it. There's one where Anakin is a tanky, and the other one where he's an ANCAP. And basically, what was great is that an idea for a shitposting video that I've got is basically, you know how in episode 2 they're talking they're talking about politics, and he says I'd be too scared to trick a senator. And he said, "Oh well, the system doesn't work. So, what we just need to do is we just need to get down to with people and just discuss what's in the best interest and just do it." And then Padme says, "Oh well, we do that all the time. Just that some people are going to disagree." And then Anakin says, "Oh, but we should make them agree." And then he goes, "Oh, well, who's gonna make them agree?" And she says, "Oh, I don't know, like you." And she says, "No, of course not me." Then who? Oh, someone wise. And she says, "Oh, that sounds a lot like a dictatorship." And then Anakin goes, "Well, if it works." And then all you got to do is play
He's a
fucking,
tanky.
and let's go, Basayos, man, the shit. And it's just basically just and just have him like storm the Jedi Temple with that, and then just have the last image is just him putting Padme in the guillotine.
Perhaps
Yeah.
that's an
That's
image
really
we
good.
should wrap up on then, because we're
We
at
should
about,
wrap up. Oh my god,
yeah.
we have to record a podcast right after that. Oh my god, I'm so tired.
Anyway.
So lads, let's have a last little final word from everyone.
Yeah.
Last little goodbye, and then we'll wrap up. So
Okay, who's going first?
You.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while I eat my filthy bourgeois dinner, I would just like to say that the People's Republic of Penguinistan is always looking for new comrades to help in its struggle. So, if you want to contact me, come to my YouTube channel and subscribe to Posadas Pac-Man for more updates on the Penguin Revolution. Also, keep your eyes open for Ohio Mark Sensei, which will be coming shortly. I'm working on it this evening and tomorrow, so it should be up by Friday. So if you want to see what an leftist anime review looks like, stay tuned.
nice.
All right. Well, I'll go next. Basically, comrades, if you haven't subscribed to EML Eugene and this podcast, and to any of these other leftists, you really fucking ought to do it. It'd be great if more people can fucking come on to the podcast. If you want to hit us up and you reckon you want a good shake of the stick, it'd be fantastic if you could join us. So until then, see you then.
Spooks, shall we have a word from you?
Hang that Eureka flag high and kill your fucking boss.
Amen.
Concise and to the point. I fucking love it.
Amen.
Eugene?
Yeah, now it's my turn, I think. Yeah. Remember that this fight is not only the economic fight and the political fight, but also ideological fight. And it's the one fight that it's really hard to take part in due to the nature of ideology. So get educated, and remember that liberalism is the literal cancer that is killing us. That's it.
Liberals are the enemy. They should be the first to go in the revolution.
Yeah, liberalism is an idea more than liberals. Liberals are victims of this cancer virus thing that has killed us in the past, and that is going to keep killing us. The thing that will make, I'm sorry to ramble, but a short thing. When there is this smart person that talks about politics and equality, right? And you're like, oh my god, I completely agree with the guy. And then he says something so fucking liberal. You're like, oh my fucking god, shut up. It's like I was watching Grammys, and there was some people there, and yeah, I was sitting there I agree. This is really smart what you're doing. And then fucking Hillary Clinton shows up, and I'm like, fucking god, go away, Hillary, please. Fucking
Alrighty,
Tyler the Creator was sitting there with Ushanka and a fucking red stun hammer and sickle on his head, on his Ushanka, and I'm like, yes, this is the real comrade. He's doing the real praxis.
I just
Wearing
bought
a
one.
Ushanka sickle on fucking Grammys. That's
wearing
what we all
wearing
should
a
do.
Ushanka is praxis now.
He had
Ushanka
hammer and
praxis.
sickle on there.
All right.
Dude,
Thank you all
fucking hell.
for joining us, and thanks to Batco, Pac-Man, Spooks, Eugene, and Glassix for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out easternmarshlands.com to stay up to date with everything EML, and hopefully you can catch us next time. You can also hang out with us on the Discord, where we will also be recording Radio Science Podcast right after this live broadcast. So catch you all later.
Yeah.
Bye bye.